Hi, everybody. Hi, everyone, and Torah Anytime. Here we are again with our Gemara Shir, Masechet Shabbos Kuf Nun Daled Amud Beis. Our Shir is about using a tree on Shabbos. Are you allowed to climb on a tree on Shabbos? Are you allowed to use the trunk of the tree by leaning on it? Are you allowed to swing? Are you allowed to, your child, your children, are you allowed to have a swing on the branch and swing along on Shabbos? Yes, no. So basically, we are learning now Kufna Daldam the base ACV, middle of the wide lines, about 10 or 12 lines from the bottom of the page. ACV. We said yesterday, before we go on, and before we continue, again, I'll mention that this share is for the Ilun Neshama of my dear father, Menachem Ben Akiva, and that we're also praying for the success and rescue of the hostages, Ilun Nishmas, the soldiers. So, yesterday, we saw a statement, B'Shem Rabbah. Rabbah, the Amoira, was seen holding his baby on Shabbos, his own baby, and basically sliding the baby up and down the side of an animal. Yeah, there was a donkey there. And just in order to create some fun, to play with the baby, l'sha'asheh hatinoik, Rabba would slide the baby up and down, not on top of the animal, but by the side of the animal. Using the side of the animal, like the flanken, he would use that as like a little slide. So Abaye approached him and asked, how come that's allowed? There is a famous Mishnah, Beit Salam Dvav Amud Beis. It says you're not allowed to ride an animal. Can't ride an animal. You can't ride an animal. That means, yeah, that you can't use the sides either. To which Rabba answered, Tzedadin mutorin. There's no gzer on tzedadin on sides, meaning you can't ride an animal the normal way. But to lean against the side of an animal without moving the animal, to just lean on the side, the animal, or in this case, to have the baby rubbing against the animal, sliding up and down, that's okay because the animal's not moving and you're not riding, not sitting on the animal the normal way. Chachamim always, when Chachamim make a gzera decree, they make the decree only the normal way. When it's the sides, then it's not the normal way, it's not part of the Isser. And the same applies to a tree, apparently. The same Mishnah that tells us not to use an animal also tells us not to use a tree. What do you mean not to use a tree? And oilin ba'ilan, you're not allowed to climb up the tree, move the tree. But when you use the side of the tree, let's say there's a trunk and I want to lean against the side of the trunk without moving it, that, according to Rabbah, should be okay. So using the side of the tree without moving it, without climbing on top of it, is fine. The tree is here and I'm right next to it, so that should be fine according to Rabbah. Asibay. That statement of Rabbah provokes the following question from the Mishnah in Sukkah. The Mishnah in Sukkah. What does the Mishnah in Sukkah say? Let's see. Says the Gemara. Shtayim b'de odom ve'achas be'ilan kshera ve'en odom lo b'yom tov. What does it mean? One way of explaining this interesting scenario, interesting kind of sukkah, is a sukkah which is basically there are two tfanos. A sukkah has to have a minimum of three tfanos, three walls. Let's say you have two man-made walls, L-shaped, one here, one here. The third one is a tree. In other words, what supports the schach from falling down is the ilan. The ilan, the tree itself, is is the what you call it is the wall. The tree itself, the trunk, somehow holds the schach, so it's a wall. So it's a kosher sukkah. You have two this way, one this way. You have three walls. Kosher mehadrin. However, you have the chiddush because even though the ilan is mechuber lakarka, v'chulei, because it's just the side of the sukkah, not the top of the sukkah, because we all know the top of the sukkah cannot be connected to the ground. But this is just a side wall, it's okay. However, ve'en oilin labiyantov. According to Rashi, oilin doesn't mean to go up. You're not allowed to enter this sukkah on Yom Tov. Why not? Apparently, somehow, somewhat, and we're going to see soon how, the side that supports itself with the tree is really a problem of using a tree on Shabbos when your sechach is being supported, even though it's only one side that is being supported by a tree. Such an ilan, such a sukkah cannot be used in Yom Tov. Why not? Because the schach is supported by the tree, and on the schach, they always used to put stuff. They used to put all kinds of, I don't know, pots, pans, whatever. They used to put it on the schach. That was very normal. And if your schach is being supported by a tree, that's a problem. And you using the schach to sit under the schach is not a problem. The Ritva says that, and others, to sit under the schach is fine. Because under the schach, it's okay. You can also sit under the tree on Shabbos. But if the top is really something that, if the top is being used to keep utensils, that sukkah is treif because it's supported by the side by the tree. My love, what exactly is the story? What exactly the situation here? Yeah, my love, that in what way is it that the tree supports the schach and makes it osir? The Gemara says the chakbe be'ilan. We're talking about a case in which chakbe be'ilan, the tree, somebody made a groove in the tree. Okay, in the trunk of the tree there's a groove, there's a hole. The havelut dodin, and what did he put inside that groove? Let's say that groove is inside the ilan, and now he puts the konim over there, meaning not the schach itself. He put some slabs over here. Those slabs are like a horizontal doifen, and on top of them he puts the schach. So that's called tzdadim, davalu tzdadim. In other words, the tree is here. The tree is strongly supporting some slabs and canes. On top of them, there's a schach. So they're using the side of the tree, not the tree itself. It's tzdadim asurin. You see that the tzdadim are not allowed to be used. It says in oilon b'yom. It says you're not supposed to use it on Yom Tov. And it says the Gemara Lai, the kafir. So that's a time against Rabbah. We see that the side of the ilan cannot be used. Apparently, the same should be regarding using the animal. How can you use the side of the animal? And says the Gemara Lai, the kafir ilan. No, says Rabbah. The Gemara is now supporting Rabbah. Not necessarily. I have another way to explain the story here. You know how the schach is being supported? Not from the side of the ilan, but the ilan itself, the tree itself. The kafir ilan ve'anach siku chiluye. We're talking about a case that he took two bunches of branches of tree, one group of branches from here, one from the other. He tied them together, creating a dolphin, a wall from the actual branches, and on top of that he put the schach. The gemishtamesh be'ilan. Now he's using the ilan itself. He's mamish the schach, which cannot be helped by ilan, is mamish sitting on a tree. Is sitting on a wall made out of tree. Okay. Frag the Gemara, if so, and that obviously supports Rabbah. Rabbah will tell you, no, you're using the tree itself, the schach is sitting on the actual tree, that's why it's osur. But had it been on the side of the tree, that would be okay. Like Rabbah says. Yehochi, Zog the Gemara, if so, Ema Seifa. Look what it says in the Seifa. The end of the Mishnah over there. It says, Shalosh bide Odom, Rachas be'ilan, Kshera v'odon b'yom tov. It says, if you have three walls that are man-made, three walls made by men, the achas be'ilan, one fourth doifen, which is halachically not necessary, but if you want, you can have a fourth wall. Achas be'ilan, kshera, it's kosher. Ve'odon b'yom tov, it's also kosher to be used in Yom Tov. Well, why? V'id kafir lilan, amayon b'yom tov, right? If you're saying that the fourth wall, whichever wall is the is the tree kind of wall is a problem, then because you actually use the the tree itself is what's being used as a wall, right? If so, why should that be okay? I don't care halachically you have three walls. At the end of the day, you're using a tree on Shabbos. That's usher. And according to your rabbah, we are using the tree itself. The actual branches themselves are the doifer and are the wall. Zog the Gemara, no. Wait a second. Now Rabbah is answering back. Velamites, Dodin Asurin. So what do you want to tell me? The Mishnah anyhow contradicts itself. So according to you, whoever is questioning Rabbah, you want to tell me that the sides of the wall of the tree are usher? So what? Soif sof am I on. Still a question. How come if there are three walls, as long as you have one wall that's strafe, that is actually being used by the side or by the tree itself, how come it's allowed? Who cares if you have two walls, three walls, or 15 walls? If any one of the walls supports the schach and it's a non-kosher wall because it's made out of a tree, it's a problem. Ella, therefore, must be, we're going to do something innovative now and differentiate between the reality of the first part of the Mishnah and the actual real reality, the case of the second case. Yeah, what is that? Elahosam begavazda parsachna, the ilan gufei dofen bal mudashavia, which means must be, says Rabbah, the fourth wall, yeah, we're talking about the fourth wall is actually an ilan, a tree that is naturally growing to the side. There are many branches growing to all sides. You see some such trees. So the wall has that shape of a, the tree has a shape of a wall, like, kind of horizontal, like a plaque, a plate, yeah? A big, a big piece, all horizontal. And the ilan gufi doifen balmahu, meaning the schach does not touch the wall, does not touch the tree b'chlal. Very good. You know why? Of course he doesn't have to touch the tree, because he has three walls. Says the Maharsha, in the first case you had two walls. When you have two walls, then you can't, a schach cannot stand on two walls that are L-shaped or Reish shaped, right? You need a third one. Anybody who built a sukkah knows, right? So then we had to say you're supporting yourself on the tree itself, on the tzdadim, whatever. That's an argument. The second case, leave the second case out of the story. The second case is an ilan, which is just there for tznius. You have three walls that support the schach very nicely. It's kosher, there are three walls. It's stable, there are three walls that support the schach. The ilan is just like a fourth symbolic wall because you don't want the yachna yent neighbor to look at you. That's all. And therefore over there it's fine. Dofen balmu the shavia. Oh, Daikanami, and we're going to prove that from another statement of the Tanoim. The Ktani, it says by the Tanoim, Zaklal, that's the rule. Kol she'ilu notel ilan, dechol lamod onuna b'yom tov, shmamino, mamish what we said. If the ilan wouldn't have been here, let's say the ilan, the tree wall, the tree doifen wouldn't been here, then the sukkah would have still stood here proud and tall. The sukkah would have been stable, which means the ilan is not necessary for me, then it's kosher. Okay, let's summarize for those of us who were not here all the time. Basically, what does Rabbah say? Rabbah tells us that to use the side of an animal or the side of the tree is okay on Shabbos and Yom Tov. So how come the Gemara in Sukkah said over there that when you have two walls and a third wall, it's not, and the third wall is a tree? Why wasn't it okay to use it? Because using the actual tree, had you used the side of the tree, it would have been okay. If it would be something that's sticking out, v'chule. But if you mamish put the, what's its name, the schach, on a branch, like a big branch, a bar, you take and you use the schach, using it on the actual tree, and a chanami. You're not using tzdodim, you're using the tree itself. That's why it's also. Why was it okay in the second case of the Mishnah? Because you're not touching the tree. That's simple. It's not muchach, Rabbi is right. Could be the Mishnah did forbid using tzdodim. But Lamais, it's not proven against Rabbi either. So from that Mishnah, we can't prove anything. Shma mino. Lemechet anoi. Let's say now that this statement of Rabbah that Tzedodin Mutorin, that you are allowed to use the side of the animal or the side of the tree on Shabbos, let's now, let's try now and theorize and try and say that really it's a topic of machloikes, dispute between the Tanoim. What does it say there? It says about the very same sukkah, Ein Onel B'Yom Tov, that sukkah which we assume is being used to keep the schach steady, you're not allowed to enter that sukkah on Yom Tov because you're using the tree. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, Rabbi Shimon only Yom Tov. Rabbi Shimon says no problem. You're allowed to go and enter it on Yom Tov. Rashi says only means to enter. My love, what's the machlokes whether you are or not allowed to enter? The Akam Miflagi must be the machlokes is as follows: the Ma'asava Tzedodin Asurin, or Ma'asava Mutarin must be the machlokes is whether you are or are not allowed to use the sides of the tree. What does mean the sides of the tree? And why do we assume that that's a machloikas? As we said before, sides of the tree is as follows. Imagine yourself, this hand of mine is the trunk of a tree. You dug out, kind of carved out and created a groove. Now you put the slabs of the doifen, you put some slabs over here all over, inside the tree, and the schach is resting on the other side of those sticks, those slabs. So that's called sdodim. And the question is, can I or can I not use a sukkah that's supported by the side of the tree? How do you know that the case there is a side? Maybe it's the tree itself. Says Rashi, can't be. Nobody with his right mind would have said that it's okay to use the tree itself, because it's before Mishnah in Beit Salomon Dvav Amud Beis that you're not allowed to use the tree. No Tanoim argue on that. You can check it out for yourself. If all of a sudden Tana says that it's okay, how could he say such a thing? Must be it's the side of the tree that he says it's okay, like Rabbah. But there's another Tana which does not allow it, which is the Tanakama. He says, no, you're not allowed to use the side of the tree. So what Rabbah did with his baby is really questionable. Amar Abaye, loy. Abaye says, no, it's not a machlokes tanoim. And Rabbah followed one opinion. No, the kul amatz dodin asurin. Wow, really? Everyone agrees that to use the side of the tree is osir. If I want to lean on the side of the tree, if I want my schach to, let's say, enter straight into the tree and supported by the side of the tree, osir. Over here, it's not called tzedodin, but tzidei tzedodin kamiflagi. Over here, it's the side of the side. Follow my picture again. I'm sorry I don't have a picture, but it's very hard on Zoom to have pictures. I'm not advanced enough. Let's say this is the groove that's inside the tree. That's the tree itself. Those slabs that are stuck inside, they are not the schach. They are the tzad. They are the tzdodim. Now the schach is resting on the other side. Let's say my tudat zahut is the schach. So that schach is resting on those sticks that tzdodim. When I'm using the schach on sukkahs, I'm using the tzchach that's sitting on a peg that's sitting in a tree. Tzidei tzedodin, that's the argument. Ma'asavar tzidei tzedodin asurin, Tanakama thinks that the side of the side is also to be used on Shabbos and Yom Tov. Ma'asavar tzidei tzedodin mutorin. Ma'asavar no, the side of the side is allowed, and that's Reb Shimon Lozo. That's what Rava wants to say. But Rava is working against Rava, like before. But Tzdodim themselves are clearly osir. Everyone is against Rava in that. Rava argues on Abaye, and we're in for a surprise. Rava says, "Man de osir b'tzdodin, osir nami b'tzid tzedodin. Man de shar b'tzid tzedodin, shar nami b'tzdodin." Says Rava, no, they're consistent. Whoever forbids tzedodin use the side of the tree would also forbid to use the side of the side. So too, and whoever allows this would also allow the other. I want to give you a modern day example because you can get a little bit lost over here. Are you allowed to swing, or you or your son, daughter, or grandson, granddaughter, whoever wants to sit in a swing back and forth, so much fun? Can you attach a swing to the tree, hang those ropes of the swing nice and country style, on the tree and swing back and forth? Yes or no? If you use, if the swing is hanging straight and it's tied to the branch, that's called sdodin. Why? Because the tree is there. Sdodin knows one step removed. My swing is not the tree, but the swing is mamish hanging to the tree. So I'm sitting on sdodin. However, so that's for sure not allowed according to Abaye, and it is okay according to Rabbah. And Rav seems to support him too a little bit. Tziditz Dodin would be if you have a peg or a few pegs, sticks, sticking out of the tree, of the branch, and on those pegs or hooks, you put the what's its name, on them you hung the swing, that's okay to be used on Shabbos. That is tziditz dodin, which according to Abaye, according to some, is allowed. That's tziditz dodin. That's a good example for life today, everyday life. Let's continue now. So again, Rava says no. Rava says I don't see the difference halachically between dodim, tziditz dodim. It's all or nothing, and I don't think these tanoim, whatever whoever says it's okay one way, would also say it's okay the other way. Aser of Mishashel Rovin. Mishash is now questioning Rava from the following statement of the tanoim. Not Yosed Ba'ilan. Now, this story over here is a story about Eruv Tchumin. We all know you're not allowed to walk too far out of town, 2,000 amis. It's crossing, it's going too far, wandering beyond the Tchum. So, what do you do if you have to go far away? For Dvar Mitzvah especially, you're allowed to take some food, locate the food wherever you want in the forest, somewhere out of town, next to, I don't know, Bet Shemesh Road, yeah, out of town, and take the food before Shabbos, place it over there, and that will be your place for Shabbos. Why? You are wherever your food is. Wherever your food is when Shabbos comes in, that's your point, that's your central point. That's a place you're considered to be attached to on Shabbos, and from there you can walk another 2,000 amis, giving you much more distance to walk. Now, that food has to be physically and halachically accessible for you. For example, if somebody wants his makoim shvisa, his place of location, you know, like the ways, like that upside down drop, yeah, like a location logo. If you want that to be your place on Shabbos in the Rishus Harabim, and your bread or your food is in a pit which is 10 tefachim deep, not going to work because it's in Rishus HaYochid. It has to be halachically available. Oh, let's say that now you stuck a peg, you attached a peg, you stuck in a peg into the ilan, to the tree, the talaba kalkala, and you hung a kalkala, a basket on that peg, then is this a kosher eruv? Is that called an accessible, approachable eruv tchumin? The food is available to you, and now you can call it your place for Shabbos. Depends. Lamala maso tfachim en eruv. If it's above 10 tfachim, your eruv is not an eruv. Why? Because above 10 tfachim is already not reshus ha rabim. What is it above 10 tefachim? Usually it's a makom p'tur. The problem is it's in a basket. If the basket has a size of 4 tefachim wide and it's above 10 tefachim, oh, that sounds very scary for those of us who remember Reshuyos. It's 10 tefachim above the ground. It's 4 tefachim vessel of 4 tefachim width, and we say good achis. So now it's considered to be Rishus HaYochid. Rishus HaYochid is above 10 tefachim and on the surface of 4 tefachim. So if your basket hanging on the ilan is real Rishus HaYochid, uh-oh, you don't have a good eruv. You're in Rishus HaRabim and the food is Rishus HaYochid, not good, treif, you can't walk there. Now, you can't walk beyond that. Now, lematam yutfachim eruv eruv. Oh, if your basket with the bread is within 10 tefachim, the eruv is a good eruv. Why? Because you and your eruv both are in Rishus HaRabim. The only thing we care about right now, we siphon one point out of this very interesting statement. What is that? Why do you keep talking all the time about the basket hanging from a peg from the tree. Why can't you say that he actually hung the basket with the bread on a branch? Why not? Oh, there's something going on over here, something fishy. Time the not Yosef Be'ilan. It's only kosher, it's up if it's below 10, if the Yosef there is a peg attached to the tree, hello nuts. Sounds like if there is no peg over there, but you attached it to the tree itself, to the branch. Mashma that even if it's below 10, the Eruv is not a good Eruv. So it depends on whether it's on a peg that's kosher. If it's not on a peg, but straight on the tree, then what is it? It's a problem. Oh, the high tana, the koser b'tzdodin, the kashal b'tzdodin. In halachic language, that is what? This tana does not allow you to take your bread from a basket that is tzdodim, that from something that's hanging on the tree, and it does allow you to take the bread from a basket that's attached to the peg to the tree. See, that's not in Mizpan. That's mamish against Rove. We do see that Tobiah was right, that there is a difference between Tzedodin and Tzidit Tzedodin. Omar Pope, Pope is now coming to the rescue of Rove and says, no, I can answer up this brisa to work according to Rove. Why? Hacha, the case of that kolkol of that basket, the kolkol d'chuka skinan. We're talking there about the kolkolo that is very tight. That basket is tight, and when you want to take out the bread, you have to start moving the actual. If you don't have a peg, if it's hanging on the actual tree on the branch, and then you have the basket hanging on the branch itself, you can't just gingerly go there, take the bread from the basket and say, it's tzdodim. It's not tzdodim. It's so tight and so uncomfortable that when you want to take out the bread, it's so tight and the behavi d'shokel le'eruv kamadid le'ilan. When you take the eruv, you have to kind of eke it out. You have to move the ilan itself. Then you're using the ilan itself, meaning over there it's very cruel. There's no middle case. If you don't use the tzidit tzdodim, the peg, you use the tree itself, you can't ever have tzdodim because the kalkol is so tight that taking anything out would automatically mean using the ilan. Because in order to take it out from that, you'll have to remove the tree itself. That's called mamish using the ilan. That's for sure trade, for sure also. That's right there. We had to take such a long journey, extra precaution to take out the bread from what's on top of the yosef on top of the peg, because otherwise it would be the tree itself. But otherwise, if you have a nice, spacious, good basket, all nice and airy, open, nice hamper, no problem. Why? Because Enochanami says Rav Papa says Rove. No, then if I can pick it and take the nice bread without moving the tree, the basket is hanging on the tree, and I'm taking out the bread, would be okay. Why? Because those who allow tzidit tzdodim also allow tzdodim. Hilchasa, what's halacha? And that's halacha lemaisa. Tzdodim asurin, tzidit tzdodim mutorin. Oh, tzdodim asurin. Similar to Abaye, tzdodim are not allowed, tzidit tzdodim are allowed. Yeah, in other words, if you want to you want to hang your nice bread basket, your wife is designing a very picturesque, rural kind of shalashudas in your back garden. And she says to you, darling, can I hang a nice, beautiful basket with all the bread inside on the tree? And every couple that comes to the shalashudas, they'll take two loaves of bread from the basket. Yes or no? So now you know what to tell her. If you want to hang the basket on the tree itself and people take it, that's not allowed. Even if the tree won't shake, even if it's very careful, that's not allowed. Why? Because it's not in a surin. It's one step away removed from the actual tree. You want to do that, honey? Let's call the handyman, or call me, I'm your husband. We will stick some pegs on the tree. The basket will be on the pegs, the bread on the basket on the pegs. That's tzidit tzdodim, and that's allowed. And same thing goes for the swingy. The swing is the same. Swing from the branch is not allowed. Swing that's attached to the peg that's to the tree is allowed. Aloha l'maisa. Amar Ravashi says Ravashi. Hashtadom tzadodin asurin. Ravashi is giving us another practical application. Now that you told me Snodin Asurin, you told me that the sides of the tree itself are also to be used. If so, make sure that if you will climb a ladder on Shabbos in order to get something up there, and you wanna somehow support the ladder on the tree. High daga the midla, that ladder that goes up a tree, lolin shadikla. Don't let it lean straight on the decal, straight on the palm tree or any other tree. Davalutz dodin. Why? As you're climbing up, you're dangerously close to the actual tree. You don't have that peg in between. Yeah, this is the tree, and this is the ladder. Sula. Hey, too close for comfort. Move away, buddy. Ela lincha gavazoi lebarbidikla. Take gavzoi, take some pegs. Yeah, get the pegs over here. That's a tree. My Tudat Zut is the peg, and this is the letter. That's okay. See dates dodin. That's fine. V'chi salik, and as you're going up close to the tree, lolinachar gavzoi. You can't put your foot on the on those pegs. Why? The pegs are tzdodim. As long as you are on the ladder, you are netzidet tzdodim. Once you cross the border from the ladder to the supportive beams that are between the tree and the ladder, that blue stuff over here, that if your legs are here, your feet are here, that's dangerous because that's already tzdodim. Elalit nachakonin, make sure your foot all the time remain on the actual ladder, and then you do whatever you need to do over there, up there. I don't know, taking some food from an upstairs floor, and that is fine. Very good. Okay, and that the parent was lochel ma'aseh. Why did I tell you before they were in for a surprise? You know why? Because the spirit of the sugya, it seems to be that Abaye is more correct than Rava. Because Rava said, no, I don't differentiate between Tzodim and Tzidei Tzodim. And yet halacha was that there is a difference. So Tosis points out, why did we all learn in Kita Daled, I did, and many, many people did, that the only 6 places in Shas where Abaye, halacha like Abaye against Rava, is Ya'al Kagam. Yeah, Yushel Amadas, Edzom Mafrea, Leflam and Meilav, Kedushan for Labia, Gilo Das Beges, Mumar Ochel and Velas, 6 places in Shas that Abaye is the one who's Halacha Lakim. Hey, here also Halacha is like Abaye. Why don't we count that as Abaye's 7th victory? So Tesis remains with a question. Other Rishonim, so the Rashba, they say, you know why? Because Abaye did not exactly say that either. It's not like Abaye is right. Nobody's right. Abaye didn't say it's not in the surah, it's not in Mutarim, right? Because Abaye probably paskin like who? Abaye paskin like the Rabbim, like Tanakama. Einon in the B'yom Tov. Oh, so Abaye himself thought that both Tzodim and Tzidet Tzodim are Osir. It's true, he didn't say that whichever Tana says X has to say Y. Abaye didn't make a rule so dogmatic. He didn't say, whoever said Tzodim, said Tzidet Tzodim. Right, so Abaye is closer to the halacha. But Abaye is not exactly halacha l'maisa. Because Abaye did not say that, practically speaking, he believed Tzodim Asurim, Tzidet Tzodim Mutorim. Abaye probably held that both are Osir, like Tanakama. Therefore, it did not make it to the list of victories of Abaye. Thank you very much. So I'm not sure I'll be here tomorrow. We have something going on tomorrow. I'll let you know during the day whether she's going to take place. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you, Tzvi. Thank you to everybody on Torah Anytime. Slocha Bracha, have a great night. Kol Tuv. Bye.